That's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
It's so dark as well. Hang on, give me a minute. Right, I can't have that too bright, as you'll understand why. I might even have to change the bins. just a white line down here. Hang on, we can do a bit better than that. I just can't hack it. I think I'm gonna have to move to some shaded bins. Let's see how we go. I know that that's not very bright, but hear me out. Hear me out. We'll wait for a few more people to rack up. As you can already tell, I'm not well. I've lost 8 kilos. I mean, look, I'm like a fucking skeleton. All that fucking working out. 8 kilos. Is Packer about? Hello, Charlie. How are you, son? Hello, Steve. Basil's on the firm. JP, what an absolute pleasure it was talking to you. Fucking feel like one, Mr. Spurs. See you at the weekend. You lucky bastards. Got you that red. You as a football fan, that red card for Rice was ridiculous. You know that. But I can understand you going, wow, wow, wow. But you're over the moon. Yeah, no, I get that. It's a grotty story I've got for you. I mean, how long have I not... John's known that I'm not... I haven't been well in years. Hello, Mr. Comstock. What's 8 kilos in pounds? Here we go. We get to the old AI and we say, what's 8 kg in LBS? And it'll give me the maths, but I won't need to know that because it'll also give me the answer. 17 pound. It's quite a lot of weight, right? I mean, look at Mr. McCoy, absolutely nailed it. Hello, Pags. Hello, Hans. They're all in. Hello, Spanish Chicken. Thanks for the donation. You got your video reply, did you? Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know my pounds. Hello, Otto. How are you, son? Good to see you. Hoax is on the firm too. Mr. Gold's here. Hello, son. How are you? Gold price going all right, actually. I don't recommend investing in precious metals, but if you did 15 years ago, you're doing all right now. As long as it was gold. Silver, you have to pay VAT on. Why? Why can people who can afford gold not pay VAT? Oh, listen to this. This will blow your minds, people. I think I've told this on this stream, at some point on the last cycle. But let me just get it right so that you can... Let me get it right off of the internet so that you know. I'll wait for a few more people to rack up. When we get to about 80, I'll tell you why. Why is one of your eyes closed? One of them has been closed for about 6 days. One of them, I've got a story for you. I've got an absolute story. Sophist is on the firm as well. I want you to come on and do a stream about fighting. Charlie Sparkles is here. Hello, Osmeister. Nah, not food poisoning. But Wolf is here, apparently. I haven't seen him. I've seen someone else mention his name. Hello, Charlie. Doc Shelley's here. How are you, Doc? Never Again. I don't know who Never Again is. Have I forgotten? I'm not 100% people. I'm operating at about 50. Weirdly, I've improved a bit of positive thinking because I'm streaming. I thought this was going to be a lot more, but I've already improved. It's fun, isn't it? A bit of get rid of a bit of self-pity, and you can sort of change your situation. But I'm sure I'll go back to feeling like death afterwards. And this is probably, a lot of you will, this is what's going to happen. Hello, humans. Good to see you. Nice one, Spanish Chicken. Someone sent me if you use that for a donation, you get a video reply. But someone got one when I was really sick, and it was just at the start of it. Now, if you've had what I've had, and I've still got, but I'm on the mend, you're going to I've got to wait for people to turn up. Otherwise, I'll go through this and go through it. I haven't got the dengue. No dengue fever. No, I won't say what it is. Sufis just is calling us troops. Troops! If I haven't said hello to you, it's just because I haven't said hello, David. Oh, we just spoke about me, didn't we? Hello, Eleanor, of course. There you go. There's old Wolfenstein. Hello, mate. Hope you're all right. If it's on the firm, Mr. McCoy, always a pleasure. Woodlander's here. Hello, Woodlander. How's it cracking, mate? So, yeah, I'll tell you what. Oh, that's all right. As long as I haven't forgotten, someone who's I shouldn't forget, really. But I'll remember again. Well, maybe do tune in a bit more. I haven't streamed for but I don't even know how long. I'm only just coming out of it. I'll tell you all in a minute. What did I'll tell you what. Someone sent me a song on Telegram, and I think I can play it, weirdly. I think I'll drink myself into a coma, and I'll drink every pill that I can find. I don't know the words though. But morphine, whiskey, codeine, they won't alter the way I feel that death, the way I feel that death is not around. D7. Yep. That's me playing you a song. Right, we've got 79. Well, someone's already donated. No, they haven't. The truth will set you free. 43 months on the firm. Boom. Nice one. Really appreciated. As you're hearing my story, it's been awful. This might just be an old man moaning about being ill, but I'll try and I just thought I can't not stream. I can't do it for this long. Thank you, Truthful City Free, though. And I know it's likely been longer than that as well. The ups and downs of this show. John Palmer has opened the grift, though. Look at that. Take this and stop that. There you go. Oi, John, I used to get up in the morning rattling, and my girlfriend was rattling, and then I'd go out into Paynton on an old crappy old acoustic. It's a really crap, horrible thing. Nylon strings, which isn't what you want when you want to, the acoustic. So that's nylon strings. They're just quiet. And it was a parlour guitar, which that is, tiny little things. And you know, I used to play all the A Wasp in a Bowl of Blood, one of the Dangerfield classics, a few household tracks. And all I wanted was enough money to get some baccy, me and the missus a Chelsea bun, and then go out grafting so that I could get some gear. Occasionally, some lovely bastard would like stick a tenner or a score in there. And if someone put a score in there, it was just a question of when I'm going to stop playing. On more than one occasion, people put like 20 or 30 quid in the hat. So I'm sitting there, I'm rattling. There's nothing I want more than a bag quick. And I'm sitting there giving it, what's that? How'd that go? Oh, what's been a bowl of blood? Struggles as its wings get stuck. And everybody said we can't do anything. Oh, not me. I dive straight in, 'cause it's the best wasp, yeah, I've ever seen. And we're happy, and happy is good. I know that it is, 'cause my mum said it would be, yeah. And we're laughing, and laughing is good. I know that it is, 'cause I read it in a book, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 8 o'clock, Tuesday morning, November, frostbite fingers. Right, so I think they were just like, it was mercy. That's what they were giving me. It was mercy. Charlie Sparkles has signed up. She's on the firm. Nice one, Charlie. She's become a member. JP's been a member for 35 months now. He's been a member for about 8 years. Brad James drops 2 squid in. You've been working the streets. Have you read Whatever Happened to Hunting, James? If you haven't, James, sorry, Brad, I bet you've had that all your life and don't appreciate it. If you haven't, give it a read and you'll see that I have, in fact, been on the other side of the sex worker line on more than one occasion. Geezer up in Lesney's Abbey used to pay you to suck your willy. And then there was old Dirty Lynn, of course. Read that, you might enjoy it, Brad. You probably won't. John B, 42 million. Looks like it's the 40. It's because I haven't streamed for so long, isn't it? These would usually be distributed. I don't know. Vincent sent me some lovely spiritualized earlier. I think that's why I got the guitar out. Well, there we go. A couple of donations. I'll remind you, people. I'm skint. Absolutely brassic. I've never been this frightened. Brad just dropped a Lady Godiva. Why do I feel like that song would be the opening song to a Dangerfield biopic? I do get indulgent. Sometimes when I'm editing my novel, you know that one. I wanna be a Siamese cat, Siamese cat. I wanna be a Siamese cat. Flip-flops, Xanax, suntan, and an Adidas hat. You know that one? I think that would be... I indulge myself with my novel, and I think when I sell enough copies and it becomes a cult novel, I'm thinking of calling it cult novel or something like that. Best-selling cult novel. And then I make enough money to direct a movie with the Iconoclast. I'll record that tune properly of Mumford. It'd go lovely. That was a nice little chat, wasn't it? This has cheered me up no end. This is, and you know what? I actually thought I'd do this because I thought you deserved it, and I'm getting so much out of it. It's lovely. And I'll tell you why I've done this stream. I'll start telling you why I've been away in a minute. But there's nearly 100 people here. Lovely. The grift. Let me just get the grift out of the way. If you hover your phone camera over that, a little link will come up. You can donate there, and you'll get a video reply. Entropy donations is the pinned comment at the top of YouTube chat, and super chat is at the bottom of the bottom of the I can't talk. You know where super chat is, and it would be and all the donations so far and all the memberships are very welcomed. Right, that's that out of the way. What was I going to tell you? Right, so this is what happened. I can't remember what day it was. It was a Thursday or Friday, I know that much. And I had like a weird headache. Now, most of you know I get migraines. I get migraines with aura. When I get the aura, you see all these zigzag patterns. Type migraine with aura into Google. Loads of people have tried to draw and paint what it's like. And you'll see that they're all very similar. Mine's sort of like yellow and blue zigzag, like in an arc. And so are a lot of them. And then I can go like that with my hand and see behind my hand, obviously with this eye, but my hand just disappears. It's not, but I didn't have any aura. I just had this really odd headache. And I thought, right, this is a migraine. It's coming at me like a second sense. Seventh, I don't know. And as I was looking at the monitors, because I was working, right, listen to this. I've got 2 staff on holiday, 2 staff off sick, and the people who run the office have moved, and they've had to move the warehouse. We've had to get rid of our inventory and distribution software because it's too expensive because of the global financial crisis. People, if you can't afford to feed yourself, you're not buying too many lockpicks. And then everyone's sick and ill and on holiday, I was just sitting there thinking, I've never felt this frightened about the future. And I have actually. I've told you many times when I sat on my arse in my Soho flat with all my stock around me thinking, well, what are you going to do? I had to fire all my staff, but twice I brought it back. But anyway, the light from the monitors was too much. So I just kind of looked at the keyboard and put migrained off and just sent it to all the staff. We have like this communications software. It's like sort of like Twitter, but just for your staff. And I said I migrained off because they usually know if I write I've got a migraine, they won't hear from me for like 24 hours. But then about 5 hours later, Brad, thanks for that. Thanks for all those donations and memberships, by the way. About 5 hours later, I woke up. I just felt like I had like flu or something or COVID, and I just flopped on my bed, and this headache was pounding. But I thought this, You know, when I have a migraine, the headache's the easiest bit to deal with. It's all the other stuff I get. Anyway, when I woke up, I had toothache, right? But check this out. Now, I'm going to go to the chat because I know if someone hasn't already, if someone hasn't, no, it's not a sexual disease, and no, my legs haven't fallen off. Hello, Banksy. Hello, Osmeister. John says if he lost £8, he wouldn't even be furious. Not even 9. 9 Thos here, is he? Oh, lovely. Mr. Clapworthy's on the firm. Lovely. Good to see you, sir. Hello, Banksy. Nice to see you. Didn't, couldn't, wouldn't, certainly shouldn't. Hello, Her Royal Highness Emma of Glass. I've missed you. I hope you feel better. Can't stop. Oh, that's ruined everything. I only done the stream to flirt with you. Jesus. What's going on when Glass ain't got time for me? Right. So when I've woken up, I've Mr. Gold. It's a stroke. Thanks, mate. Usually a very mild-mannered, friendly character, Mr. Gold. He's just come out of a right. You had a bad day, son. I appreciate it, though. Don't get me wrong. I quite like that. Chrissy's here as well. And Chris, just as I saw Wolfie say hello, Chrissy, Chrissy drops the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, love. Thank you very much. Tricky Woo's on the firm as well. I was getting concerned. Couldn't find Dangerfield, only old Rodney's clips. Right. So this is why I'm doing this stream. I thought it was only going to be a short one, but I'm feeling like a bit better just doing it. It's quite nice. So when I say toothache, I don't mean one. I mean every single tooth, top and bottom, along that left side. Now I'm just keeping an eye. Look at John Palmer cracking up at Mr. I bet that's at Mr. Gold saying it's a stroke. Hello, Seeking Truths. Packer, do you want to jump on, mate? I'll stick the invite in. I mean, up to you, usual capers. Let me know when you've got it, though, because otherwise the Walshes and all that, the Walshes of this world. Yeah, here's an example. Hello, Pauline Smith. I've been told I had silent migraine, numbness all down one side. Frick me, went from doctors to A&E, no stroke. Now, this fella wrote to me today, and he's been about the 15th person. And I thought, how nice is that the Scrubs, I usually complain about getting loads of emails. Hello, Barkley. Hope you're all right, son. Hello, Monty. It's monkeypox. Cheers, Packer. All that side, toothache, earache, and if I touched any of the skin on the left side of my face, it was agony, right? And here's the kicker. Oh, sore throat as well. You can still hear the remnants of that. And I will. I have to do that occasionally, otherwise it gets a bit Simon Webby. But here's the kicker. This is the bit that frightened the hell out of me. I'm just going to have a look in the chat. See if... Hello, Andrew. Now, I know Andrew's situation. So although I'm talking about this as if it's bad, Andrew's probably thinking, get over it, you fucking... you southern slag. Right. So toothache, earache, my eye was all like sort of swollen, and underneath my eye, it looked like someone had given me a little jab, just like a sort of like a swelling. But here's the kicker. I could smell, and when I tasted but smell, like death. It smelled like death. And I thought, what the fuck? I called my missus. I said, darling, can you come round? I need some help. I'm a bit scared. She's there in a couple of seconds. Not this one. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Yeah, high five.
Oh, which way? Fucking hell.
It's
been a week or two.
Let me just finish this, and then we can get on with some streaming, because I've actually got some things we can talk about. The smell of rotten death. When my missus turned up, I was in the bedroom, but I'd locked the door. You sent me a lovely email earlier. Don't start giving it the big one because you're in public. Well, you can if you want. Right? I've left the door's locked, so she can't get in. So I've had to get out, and I'm sort of just got a towel around me because I'm hot. And when I take the towel off, I'm cold, all that lot. When I opened the door, she walked in, she went, oh, and she turned around, shut the door, and she was outside with her hands on her knees, like bending forward, going, like heaving. And from outside, she texted me in Khmer, but I can use Google Translate, but I could understand it anyway. Yeah. She said, my house smells like death. So no way is Jer in here. Incredible. Look what he said. Well, we're getting there. I've just had a bit of a bad one. This is mad. So many people in here. So many OGs, 121. And so I've got on the computer and I've written on my phone because I can't look at the monitors because my eyes just water and swell up when I look at the monitors. This is like 2-3 weeks. Whenever I last streamed, I think the day after. So on my phone, I've turned the brightness right down and I've put the symptoms in. Teeth, many teeth ache, nose ache, eyes swelling, earache, multiple teeth ache. Sent that to my missus. She's put that into Google and she's given me her phone. And I know you're going to think this is nothing. Sinusitis. That's exactly what I had. Sinusitis. And if anyone had ever said to me before, I've got sinusitis, I'd have thought, nah, you just got a cold or something. But I'm telling you, man, there was a period of about 4 days. I couldn't even tell work what was wrong with me. The second day, I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. This is why I've lost 8 kilos. I haven't eaten any. Well, I have now, but for that first sort of week, I couldn't eat. And apparently, hello, Few Sights and Sounds. Nice to see you. Champi TT said you're dead. Well, Otto, I ended up having to get this bottle. I'll show you it. I got this, right? Because my girlfriend made me go to the doctors, and even the tuk-tuk ride there was, Hoax, have you had it? I want some. This is where it gets weird, right?
I've had it.
You've had it?
Yeah.
Sinusitis?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were dying?
Yeah, it's a pain in your head like you've never had before, isn't it?
Oh, thank God for that. I honestly thought, I don't mean like that. Obviously, I don't mean like that. But listen to this, Packer. Because today I've only started, there you go. No, I had that, Pauline. I was coming to that. I had all the hallucinations. I was seeing all sorts of things happening. And I'm telling you, it was really unpleasant. Well, that was them, Charlie. Toothache, earache, eye ache, nose ache, sore throat, headache, and no energy at all. And the stinking smell of rotten death. Did you have that bit, Packer?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So check this out, people. So first thing I've had to do is think about all the because I've got customer service staff in hospital. I mean, wow. I've been doing customer service work, but because I couldn't tell anyone, I couldn't even say to one of my other staff, can you get on my fresh desk and deal with any customers I'm dealing with? Because if you start dealing with a customer, that gets allocated to your fresh desk. And I've got like 3 customer service people, but one's in hospital. I can't tell anyone. So customers are writing to me. You know, there was one bloke, he'd spent nearly 300 quid and he was going, it's been like a month now. And I only found this out today. And so I give him a call out of courtesy. When I really fuck up, I think it's only right to call the customer and say, look, I'm the director of the business. This is all on us. If you're worried we're a scam, I'll refund you in full now. And you can buy it somewhere else, or I'll get the order sorted. I'll give you a 10% discount. I'll refund that back to you, and I'll put another product in. I'll give him another 40 quid product. It's good business. A basic thing in sales that everyone who's any good at sales knows: it costs more to get a new customer than it does to keep hold of one. And it's also nice when someone trusts you with 300 quid of their hard-earned money, and he'd been writing every day, why aren't you talking to me? Someone get back to me. What's happened to my order? And I'd be going nuts if someone wasn't getting back to me. I'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? Anyway, I spoke to him, and this was early this morning. I was a lot worse than I am now. Weirdly, this stream's really picked me up. Amazing. But I am well on the mend. It hasn't been like this. God, no. But I said to him, listen, I said, I'm not making excuses, but by way of, what's the word I'm looking for? An explanation. I said, I've had sinusitis. And I thought he was going to go, oh, come on, what? You can't send an email. And he went, oh, mate, he said, I had it twice in my 40s. He said, I had to have an operation. He knew all about it. I could not believe my luck. I said to him, well, I said, I just went under. He said, look, thanks for calling. And we come to a nice arrangement. But what luck of the draw that is, Packer, that customer had it. And he said, yeah. And I said to him, did you have the smell of death? He said, yeah. And my missus washed all my towels and tea towels and crameurs that I was just blowing snot on and that. They're over there. I've got to wash them again. They still smell of it. I can still smell it now. But it's also probably still in here. But I ended up getting this bad boy. Well, my missus did. You put that in there, you boil up a load of water, get it room temperature, take a sachet out of here, put that in there, and then you lean forward, stick it up your snout, and blow salty water up your beak. And I tell you what, it's the weirdest feeling. And the first time I done it, if you're eating, the first time I done it, not what you think come out. It wasn't what you'd imagine. It was more, I won't go into details, but it wasn't, there was plenty of what you imagine. We've all seen that. There was plenty of that, like tennis balls worth. But there was also some other very creepy stuff. And I was like, wow, no wonder I ain't feeling too good. I've just bred an alien. So I carried on doing 3 of those a day for a few days and slowly on the mend. I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks. So there you go, people. I'll tell you what, if you get sinusitis, it takes you down. There you go. Lee says sinusitis is horrible. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Lee. I had 7 weeks off work with that. Basically an infection in your face. There you go, Lee. When I was on about day 5 and I felt like I was going to die. I honestly thought my time in this world was over. And my girlfriend, after we'd established it was sinusitis, I said to her, have a look on the internet. She can't write English, so I have to text it to her. Then she copies and pastes it into Google on her phone. And it said it can go up to 4. They said they don't use antibiotics on it and until it goes for like 14, 15 weeks. I was like, I can't do 14, 15 weeks like this. I'm still knackered. Walking up the stairs, I nearly fainted today coming here. I had to fold up some clothes earlier. I got on the motorbike to drive to the girlfriend's house, and as soon as I turned it on and it started moving, I stopped that and thought, yeah, no, that's just death. But luckily, I'm well over the worst of it, and it's been about 2 weeks. But yeah, I can look at that, 7 weeks off work, and people don't get it, do they? It's really harsh. Here we go. Rizbo Tube said, I had sinusitis once. It was a stop, go, stop. Well, I can't believe I fell for it. Hello, Mr. Rankin. I am still with the young lass. Yes, we thought during she done a pregnancy test and it was positive, and we went down to the maternity clinic and she had an echo sounder, and as soon as she put that echo sounder on her belly and I saw that cone shape, I started shaking like I had a blood sugar problem. And I thought, if she turns around to me and says, you're going to be a father, I thought, I'm going to faint. I could feel it. I thought, I'm going to faint. I want to have a family with her, but not yet. And that's something else I've got to explain to you, but that will come in a few months' time. There's some personal issues that need sorting. It wouldn't be a good time for her to have a baby. I want to be with her. But I sort of wanted to be happy with her. But she done another pregnant. When she done the echo sound, the woman said, nah. She said, you've got a very good, very thick uterus. She said, you're very healthy for giving birth, which is good news, obviously. She's only about 7, so you'd expect that, I suppose. But very bad timing. And with the money issues with work, I just, and being sick and all that, I was thinking, this is awful. This is all falling to pieces like I've never known. There you go. Hoax had it in bed for days. But thanks for asking, Robert. Yeah, she's off to the province for a few days because it's a big festival out here. It's Pachumban. And luckily I've got the old sinusitis, so I didn't have to go. It's all too much for me. I'll just put that on the screen for a couple of seconds. I can't believe in one sentence you made me feel worse than everything else. Well, only the usual, Right. Jer's on the phone again. Nice one, Jer. Well, I've lost 8 bloody kilos, Robert. I'm not happy about that. I've done that a couple of times, Pauline. I've done that. I did do that one a couple of times just to any relief. And I also, when I got over the worst of it, on YouTube, there was things like where you push one up and pull your ear out. And I was thinking, oh, this ain't going to work. But it weirdly did give me a little bit of relief. but my teeth are still aching just a little bit. Nothing like a proper toothache. So anyway, that's why I haven't been streaming.
Yeah, when I had it, it started as toothache, but then it got progressively painful. And then by the time it was in my ear, a few days later, I went straight to the doctor's then.
And you know, don't you? You think, well, hang on, this is all connected.
Yeah, she was like, oh no, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, it won't. I want antibiotics. And it took 2 lots of antibiotics to get rid of it.
I mean, out here, I've got antibiotics. See, you don't need a prescription, but I don't like taking them because they are in the water system and they are stopping working, you know. And a lot of the internet said it won't do a lot, you know. It's not. How long did you have it for?
Couple of weeks. I still suffer with that sinus now, that side of my face.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that it's just going to be one of those things that I'm going to have come and go, you know. Like, yeah. Robert Rankin's arse just fainted. Barkley Walsh says parasites. There's only one parasite around here, son. Spanish chicken wants details. Look at Cooper. Hello, Cooper. Absolutely. Color, texture, consistency. Well,
Volume.
it was like spaghetti bolognese. There you go. You asked. No, Nick, I would suggest, has no longer got that leg. Poor old lad he was. New fear unlocked. Yeah. Never again. You know what? That's quite a good question. How does one get this macabre face ache? I don't know. Now, so that's where I've been, people, and that's why I haven't been streaming. So massive apologies. John's worried he's going to get Danger's lurgy. Suffist had an ear infection a few months back. Thought I was dying of cancer again. Have you had cancer? I couldn't walk, couldn't eat, lost 2 stone in weight. Yeah, as you get a bit older, these things start hurting. Robert faints when he walks. That'll be that anal fainting you've got. 3 weeks. There you go. Picking your nose is cleanliness. Right. So listen, I've been checking out. Right. I've been checking out. Oh, that's not no. What a shame. Did you get off of sharing spikes? Oh, that's very nice of you, Ben. Well, that's why I've done this stream. I had so many people writing to me. Are you all right? Are you dead? Are you dead? I had 3 people say that. Are you dead? And the weird thing is, I know that they meant it, but how am I meant to answer that one? So I just thought I'd do this stream. I apologise. There's not a lot going, but I have got something I want to talk about. Let me just find him. I want to talk about Bekele. Anyone know Bekele? I bet Pags knows. They're really trying to get rid of him as well.
John says Bacardi. I say, is it too late to say I'm sorry?
Listen, there's this geezer called Naib Bukali, right? Thank you, Lulu. There's this geezer called Naib Bukali. Lives in El Salvador. El Salvador was the most dangerous place on earth, right? Drug gangs, all your MS-13 come from there. That's where they have their main bases, but they're not even the biggest gang there. You couldn't go out in the streets in El Salvador because you'd get kidnapped, wrapped up, and then your ears sent to your parents. Send us whatever money you've got. You might see her again. Such a dangerous place, El Salvador. This geezer, Nayib Bukele, he started off working with the commies. Then he moved over to the far right. Then he moved over to the centrists. He plotted his political course very cleverly. And then in what they are saying were the country's first democratic elections, his own party got a supermajority. That means they run the shop. That they have got more votes than all of the other parties put together. So even if every single member of every other party, because it's proportional representation, votes against his party's ideas, if his party all vote for it, it goes through. Now listen to this. This is going to blow your minds. I just see a couple more super chats come through. I'll deal with them while they're in time. They might be contextual. Osmeister said, "Is your mic all right? I'm hearing scratching noises. Anyone else hear it? Let me know if anyone else is hearing scratching noises. But I have bought a new microphone. It won't come to Cambodia. Well, that's 9 years old. It's got fucking mold on it.
Yes.
I get a look. Hang on, where is it? Look at that green mold. That's probably where I got the fucking sinusitis.
I was just about to say that. Some of that went up your nose.
Yeah. Bit of wind out, open the window, blew it up there. But that's like I bought that to set up this channel. And I bought some new speakers and I need them as well. Look at this one. It's been glued to an empty pot of fucking Tiger Balm. Look, that's just so it stands upright. Can you see that? Can you make that out?
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you want to help out paying for them, that would be really handy. Actually, everyone who's already donated, that will help pay for them because at the moment it's on overdraft. Fuck them, they ain't getting a penny of that back. Basil 40, thank you, Osmeister. Is anyone else hearing scratching sounds, or has Osmeister got earositis? Basil 40 drops a lady Godiva. You ever known anyone who caught HIV from injecting, Chris? Random question, lol. Glad you are getting better though, mate. Mate, I couldn't stand up 3-4 days ago. Getting better is an understatement. The fact that I can look at a monitor, the fact that I can have a light on, it's been brutal. I've never been that sick. It was comparable to a heroin withdrawal for a few days, but in a weird way, worse because I didn't really know what was going on. You know. No, it wasn't worse. That's a lie. Because I didn't have all the mental stuff happening. I did have some hallucinations, though. Basil, no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the HIV virus dies very quickly in air. Now, first of all, I started using in the late 80s, and you can go to any pharmacy in England and get needles. You know, some of them will give you 2 carrier bags full. They'll give you a little disposable spoons. They'll give you filters. They'll give you alcohol wipes. Everything you need apart from the gear. It's so weird. It's like, can't you just sell me the gear as well? And then I won't have to rob people and give money to terrorist organizations, you know. This isn't making... That's a weird angle, isn't it, Packer? The fact that the pharmacies, the government pay for junkies to get literally everything you need.
Yeah, they'll do everything to help you.
But, yeah, very strange. and it costs less money to produce heroin than it does tea. What's a pack of 100 tea bags? A couple of quid. And that money that they could, it could be pure. They could use the money that they get from it to give people treatment and rehab. And I'll tell you now, there are very few junkies who actually want to be on junk. Some do. Some have made their peace with it, but very few. But the HIV virus dies very quickly in the open air. The only way you can really get it, and sorry people if you don't like needles, but Basil did give me a fiver, so he deserves an answer. I'm just checking entropy as well, actually. The only way you can really get it is, and this is gross as hell, people, so, watch out if this isn't your cup of tea, is if you cook up a hit, put it into a barrel, like a free meal or something. When you put it in your vein, you need to pour blood into the barrel so that you know you're in your vein. And then you push the plunger down, and then you get all the gear. But the only way you can get HIV like that is if you give that to someone else so they can have the second bit. But that's got your blood in it. And that isn't what junkies do. They don't do that. They pull half of it into one barrel and then you just pull the rest out the filter. So, I've known probably over 1,000 junkies, thousands in fact. And I don't know it. I don't know any. I know a couple of junkies that have got HIV, but they didn't die of AIDS. And they were prostitutes as well, and I'd probably suggest it came from that, and they were blokes as well. But I could just be one person. Livy's dropped 20 quid in. Livy, I reckon you're John Palmer's missus.
Yeah.
Oh, does everyone know that? Does everyone already know that?
He spoke to her when he's been on, and he's called her Livy.
Yeah, but you would do that, wouldn't you? I just did, and she's not.
No. When he's been on here talking, I'm sure it was on here. He spoke to her in the room.
Thanks, Backer. You made a confusing situation very surreal, but I still like you a hell of a lot. Thank you, Liv. It's very kind. John Fuse has dropped to. I'm going to get back to this fella. Listen. Nayib Bukele. He'd done his political manoeuvring for years until finally he got a supermajority in the El Salvadorian democratic election, proportional representation, right? And he got a supermajority. He runs the country now. He's pretty much a dictator. Now, I like the idea of a dictator. I want a benign dictator. I want a dictator that loves the country, has got a government that loves the country and the people. I think that's a good way of running a nation. And I'm serious. I think democracy has failed. Now, listen to this. El Salvador was the most dangerous place in the world. It had something crazy like 800 shootings a day. Now, don't quote me on that, but it was insane. Listen to this. He said, I'm going to give $80 million to the military, and they're going to go out and arrest all the gangs. Anyone with gang tattoos, and they have MS-13 on their head, proper stupid, and like MS-13 and all the other, there's others, MS-13 are just the well-known ones. And he these troops, they were ready for a war. You know, that sort of money in El Salvador when they've just got like sawing off shotties and the odd Kalashnikov. And they why is Rags calling me? Hello, Ragnar. If that is your real name.
It is my real name. Farquhar was my name before that. But your mate has a bad connection. It's either Jack Plug or something because it's just robot all the time.
So the mic has got. Cheers, mate. A Prasha Tutti. Look at that. What a lovely place. Right, I'm going to try and fuck about with my mic for a couple of seconds. So I'm going to probably go muted. I've got an electric shock. Can you hear me, Packer? I can't hear you now.
Because I'm muted. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear, but I could always hear you anyway. You weren't
Right,
crackling
people.
to me.
As the sound improved, Osmeister, thank you for hello, Skin and Tonic. How are you, son? Is it better? Audio's still shit, is it?
Yeah,
Same.
Missy says still crackling.
Well, lucky I have bought a new one.
No, so I'm not sure it's your actual mic because I can hear you fine. So it's not.
Oh, bless you, Rags. Well, I don't know what it is then, because there's not much else I can do about it. Maybe I'll turn the gain down. I don't even know what a gain is. Right, what about now? Same, Packer? Is that any better?
Same time?
Is that better? Oh, it says it's crackling. Packer's crackling too on Surface £2.50 system.
You mean I'm crackling?
So it must be a StreamYard thing.
We both crackling. Yeah.
It's better, but it's still crackling. What a blood of crackling, man. I do apologise. Hello, Maynard Trendle. What an absolute pleasure. Well, I don't know what I can do about that. Let me just... microphone in use by TikTok. What?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure? Let me turn it off of TikTok. I've never even done an audio on TikTok. Where does it say TikTok in there? I'm going to take a test. Oh, what kind of test is that? Well, that was good.
Yeah. I don't find you crackling here. It's every now and then I can.
I can hear you. I can hear your missus.
Yeah, she's saying I'm not crackling. It's every now and then on you, but other people say we're both crackling.
Right, well, look. Listen,
right.
I'll put it to you. There's 125 people here, and I'd like to keep you here. Are you good with me? Oh, I'm so glad you've just said that, Willow. I'm so glad you've just said that because it's been an absolute mare this last month. Hello, Willow, by the way. Right, both crackling. Right, listen. I think if you stay here, Packer, I can log back in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and do that and see whether it's... Oh, man, what a terrible shame. I really don't know what to do about it. Let me have a look at the settings. Audio. Default microphone, yeah. Speaker. Did you hear that? It went.
Well,
It was
I
a
had
bit of
noise,
music.
yeah.
It went testing the speakers on StreamYard. It sounds like they're working. That's a little song. Right, hang on. Microphone, Yeti. That's him. But I really don't know what to do. I'm just wondering, should we both go and come back? It should still be here, shouldn't it? People are saying reboot. Well, I won't have to do that. Oh, well, that's good news. Some good news at last. Maynard says start completely over, but all right.
Yeah, do that if you want.
I don't think people will come over though. They'll think, oh, I'll reboot your router in a minute. Hello, S. Giles. Yeah, let's go and come back. I'll see you all in a bit. Yeah, thank you, Tricky. Listen, if when I come back in here, it's gone offline, I'll quickly set up another stream and it'll be on my stream, obviously, on my channel. But I think it's worth doing because if it's cracking, it's horrible.
All I can do is just leave the studio. You'll have to invite me back when you come back.
Yeah, all right. You've got the address though, haven't you? You still got it?
No.
Yeah, I'll put it into the chat, and you can copy and paste it. I'll put it in the private chat, Paco. If you copy and paste that, because it's going to be the same stream, so the audience don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, I've got it.
Now someone's trying to ring me. What? Why does it say? Right. So I'm right. I'll see you all in a minute. I'm gonna start my computer up. Hang on, I've got Rags on the blower. Hello, Rags.
Right, here's what you do.
Right.
Keep back on.
Yeah.
Keep back on. You log out and reboot and come back. He'll still be there and the live stream will still be going on.
All right. All right. That's the one. Yeah. Nice one. Cheers, Regana.
No problem.
If that is your real name. Right. You stay there. I'm going to reboot because you being there will keep the stream going. But it's saying my microphone's being used by TikTok, which is ridiculous.
Which is outrageous.
It's what's the word I'm after? Mesmerizing. Right, stay there, Packer. Keep everyone happy. You're the man with the words. You can do it. Get some grifting done.
Yeah.
Go on. You can do it. Right, I'll see you in a bit, people. I'm gonna shut down. Packer, tell them how amazing it would be when I come back if it was like a tsunami of middle to high donations. Right, I'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute, mate. Right, that's him gone. Right, so there's that thing there, and he's a writer. So that's the grifting done. Yeah, please donate. Give, I don't know, whatever you would have given it to the RNLI. Will do. Ragnos's naked women. I'm fresh out, Rags. I'm sorry. Well, what can I tell you? Nothing. I ain't done nothing. Oh yeah, me and Steve and the boys went karting. That was fun. The boys are tall enough to get in the adult carts now, so apparently he wants to race me. So that'll be yay. Looking forward to that. Nothing else to tell you. I hope he hurries up. I've had a haircut today and the wife ain't noticed yet.
Very nice.
She hasn't noticed. What time is it now? 8:30. Yeah, I've been home since 3:30.
You should trim this and I'll take more notice.
Apparently my beard needs trim. What do you reckon?
Tidy up. Tidy up.
Why is Packer smoking a roll up and an electric smoker? Well, because I'm trying to cut down on the fags. I'm succeeding pretty well. Because as you would all know that when I come on here, I would sit and more or less chain smoke. And I've rolled that one since I've been on. So
And it's more than just nicotine, isn't it, love?
it's our pal here. Hello, our pal. Well, this is fantastic, isn't it? As an American, I'm also trying to cut down on the fags. Oh, I see what you're saying there.
Right, is it still cracking? If it is, I can't do anything about it. Still saying it's being used by TikTok, and it isn't.
It's probably making more money than you on TikTok as well, so look into it.
Oh, hang on, no crackling. Sounds good, sorted. Well, people, you need to give the congratulations really to Ragnar Ironspear. You can do that via a super chat or an entropy, or you can use that thing above Packer's head. I'll send the money to him for sure. That'll definitely get there. Amazing. Thank you, Ragnar. All jokes aside, look at that, crackling gone. Osmeister called it. Packer, that's got to be a high five, isn't it? Come on. Yeah, go on, son. I reckon
I
you
have to
done
think
it.
about it.
I reckon you tried under the
I
cover.
have to think about it.
There you go. You're allowed. Right. Now, where are we going back to? Old Bukaki.
I've seen him interviewed.
Yeah. Now,
Well,
let me...
looks a bit man from Del Monte, doesn't he?
Yeah. Now, let me tell you this. First thing, bless you, Rags, really. Because it was even Rags who said, you need to... We've done that, Osmeister. Throw me a fiver, we'll do it again. But I ain't doing that again for nothing. Right. Bukele. He does look like the man from Del Monte. But listen, people, right, let me finally get this out. Look, you see, we lost fucking 8 viewers. Gutted. Now we've lost 2 more. This geezer, he wormed his way through the different he worked it out. He knew how to make who to make friends with and who not to, and who to get, make connections, networking. For about 8 years he done this. Then he got the supermajority, gave the military and the old bill about $80 million. A fucking full riot gear, bulletproof vests, bulletproof armored vehicles. Sent them out and said, round up all those gangs, and if you can prove they've killed someone or kidnapped someone, I think it was just killed, actually, they're going to prison for life. Right? He's built the biggest prison in the world, and when you walk in that door, you ain't ever coming out. There's no appeals. There's no probation. There's none of that. Packer, we've got to have a little kiss. Maynard Trendo's dropped the 5-bit. Come here, son.
I can't actually see.
Back a bit. All right, you can stop now. You were too into it. It scared me. Thank you, Maynard. What a funny bunch. Maynard loved it. Did you get a little screen grab? I did. That's great fun. Right. So he builds this biggest prison in the world, and it's just full of all the gangs. Now, check this out. Check this out. El Salvador went from the most dangerous country in the world to the safest place in the Western Hemisphere. In the space of about 6 months. And all the people in El Salvador, they're loving it. They walk around the streets at night. They're having parties. There's all cafe culture. Things that, El Salvador was a slum run by the gangs. You couldn't go outside. You'd get kidnapped. Look into the stats of what El Salvador used to be like. And then there was another election. And he said, yeah, no problem. We'll do a democratic election. And on all accounts, it was democratic. They got another supermajority. Something like 83% of the votes went to his party. They can do anything. Now, this is where it gets mad, right? Hang on, check this out. Naib. There's a video when someone from the BBC says to him, yeah, but don't you think you might? There's rumours that a couple of people you've locked up shouldn't be in there. And he says to him, basically, over about 10 minutes, he says to this BBC report, he says, oh, that doesn't happen in England, though, does it? He says, you haven't locked people up for 20 years and then realised that they were innocent because of DNA and that, and then you've let them out. He said, we're processing these people. He said, we might have a couple of people who shouldn't be in there, but through time, they'll be released and they'll be compensated. He said, do I tell you how to run your country? He said, no. And he said, so don't tell me how to run mine. He said, and let's not forget that England and the USA funded the civil war in El Salvador, which they did on the back of Noriega, I think. Nicaragua. Because they just wanted to destabilize the region, and because it had the commies involved.
It was hilarious. George Bush Senior coming back, going, I've spoke to Noriega. He's a sound bloke.
Hang on, what, you've lost me?
George Bush Senior went to Nicaragua or wherever it was.
Yeah, because they they wanted to get hold of the whole thing.
Done the deal with the guy in charge, Noriega or whatever his name, and a shiftier looking dictator you've never seen. He looked like
yeah.
What's his name?
Exactly, he looks like exactly what you'd think one of those shifty dictators would look like. But this geezer is incredible. I'm going to show you some of the prisons. I'm going to show you the prison. Now, this is where it gets weird, people. This is going to blow your mind. I started looking into this about a year ago, and because I've not been well enough to do much for the last few days, but just watch the YouTube with the brightness right down. Well, here we go. Now, hopefully we'll be able to get away with this. Oh, listen, I know you don't want me to interact with it, but if I do, it's a reaction video. If I don't, it's a content match. So don't get annoyed. But, that America and England funded a civil war in El Salvador. And what happened was that's what turned it all into ghettos. And when it turned into ghettos, that's when all the gangs came about. So you can imagine when he's got some shit from the BBC saying, oh, what about a couple of people that might be innocent? And he just said, yeah, but I'm sure it's the same in your country. And I tell you what, I'd rather live in El Salvador than England. And, you know, you can get locked up in England now for shouting at the police. You can get locked up for having a political belief. 24-hour processing. You're in prison for 2 years. You can get locked up for putting stickers up. You can't in El Salvador. Now, this is what blew my mind. They've turned it from one of the most dangerous place to live in the world to the safest place in the Western Hemisphere. And I thought, wow, they actually said, we're going to do something about this. It's going to be radical, but it has to be. And the people voted for him again and again, and he'd done it. And I thought that all the comments would be like, wow, what? Nah. The comments are things like, what about human rights? These people have got rights. I was thinking, you liberals have lost your fucking minds. What, these people, you know, they were saying that some of those MS-13 people have killed like 15, 20 people. They've kidnapped people. They've just shot, you know, gone into shops and just shot everyone. Oh, they've got human rights. And then someone said, in one of the comments, someone said, you think this is a good thing, giving the government that much power? And no, I don't, actually. I don't. But they haven't given the government that much power. They've given the judiciary the power to implement the laws that the people have voted for based on the manifesto of Bukele's party. You know, I don't believe in big government. I want a government as small as possible. But I do want a government that's got a police force that implements the laws. Because if we had that in England, we wouldn't have half the problems we've got there. Because most of the things that go on are illegal. But they don't implement them, do they? Because of human rights. Well, you can't say Christmas at Christmas because of human rights. It blew my mind. And I went down this whole rabbit hole of all these leftists calling Bukele. Well, obviously, they've called him I've got to be careful here. They've likened him to someone who could have been a member of the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany in the 40s. It's like, what? Check out the prison, though. It'll blow your mind. You've never seen anything like it. There's a few YouTubers they let in. You can't get in or out of this place. No one's ever escaping. And even if you do escape, there's about, it's about 100 miles to the nearest sort of like civilization. And, you know, you're not going to survive that. You're just not going to survive it. Yeah, well, check it out. I haven't seen this clip. But I will almost promise you, well, I will promise you, the BBC will question the human rights and, oh, look what they've done to El Salvador. They've turned it from one of the most dangerous places in the world to the safest place in the Western Hemisphere. I mean, yes, there's problems. It ain't perfect. Where is perfect? I see the Swedish are chucking people out now. The Swedish are chucking people out. The Swedes are sending them home. There is something going on. Hello, mate. I'm my old Dr. C. Lily friend. Right, here, I'll check out some of this then. We'll have a watch of some of this. I haven't seen it, but I've got a funny feeling that the BBC are going to take the, it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Implementing the laws of the land and looking after the people. Terrible. Here we go.
The BBC News. Now we're going to head to El Salvador, where back in February, the president announced he was moving thousands of high-ranking gang members to the country's new so-called mega jail. Since then, there's been no information released about who exactly is being held.
What? El Salvador have got to tell the BBC, have they? What the fuck has it got to do with you? Can you believe the sense of entitlement? Well, El Salvador is now the safest place in the Western Hemisphere, but they haven't told us anything. They haven't told us anything. We funded their civil war, but and turned it into the most dangerous place in the world. But they haven't told us anything about their mega jail. Bloody cheek. We're the BBC, don't you know?
Or conditions there in the prison. Now, an investigation by BBC Mundo has used computer-generated reconstructions to reveal what life is like inside.
Hang on. Did he actually just say that? Let's listen to that again. I can't believe what I just heard. Check it.
In the prison. Now, an investigation by BBC Mundo has used computer-generated reconstructions to reveal what life is like inside the mega jail's cells.
Hello,
Ventas
Alexander.
reports.
This government footage of El Salvador.
Right, no, that is actually the prison, people. That ain't AI. That is the actual prison.
Our so-called mega prison went viral when it was released in February. It's called the Terrorism Confinement Center, or CICOT. It's the centerpiece of Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele's self-declared war on gangs.
The one that he's won. I mean, look at them. Look at all their tattoos. I wonder if they're MS-13 gang members. And there's another one called the Revolutionaries, and there's another one, I can't remember what they were called. People are allowed, they can live in El Salvador now. I can't believe they're about to show us computer-generated images of what it might be like, according to the BBC. Spanish chicken, that's what I believe. I absolutely believe that. I can't believe they're about to show computer-generated images.
Since the huge media campaign that surrounded its opening, there has been no other information about life inside CICOT.
Yeah, because they haven't got to tell you. It's fuck all to do with you. It's their country. Did they sign anything? Did they sign something with the BBC? Did they sign anything with, what is it? What is it, Pack of the famous human rights?
Amnesty International?
No, the famous human rights one. Someone in the chat will know.
European Court of Human Rights?
Yeah, but there's the famous one, isn't there? It'll pop up in the chat.
Geneva Convention?
There you go, the Geneva Convention, all that shit. They can do what they want in their own country. This is classic globalism. Oh, hang on, you're a nation that has had a democratic vote. You've got to tell us. No, they haven't. And old Bukele, he's even stood up in giving speeches saying, we can do what we want in our country. It's nothing to do with you. And fair play to him. I can't wait to see these fake graphics they're about to give us. And by the way, people, in a minute, I'll show you more footage of what life is like in the prison. I can't wait to see this is footage. It says it there, El Salvador government footage. They're not trying to hide anything. These people have killed people. They've tortured people. They've kidnapped people. They've ruined lives. So they might have a couple wrong. So has every judiciary has got a couple of people wrong.
Relatives of those detained have been desperately trying to find out what's happened to them.
Oh, I imagine the relatives of the people that got kidnapped and murdered and raped and shot. I imagine they wanted to find out what happened to them. Didn't think about their human rights, did you?
I saw the video on Facebook and I was going through it, pausing and rewinding. He was almost unrecognizable, so very thin. I only knew it was him by his tattoo.
It said actor's voice. Did you see that? But it was only up for about 10 seconds. See it on the bottom right. Just see my cursor. Very, very quiet, very subtle.
He was almost unrecognizable, so very thin. I only knew it was...
Oh, what a terrible shame. What a terrible shame, that murderer. He looks like he hasn't been fed very well. I mean, if you're going to go murdering people, you should have a pool table, television in your cell, a couple of Raymonds a day, and get out halfway through your sentence on probation. That's how you should treat murderers and kidnappers. Sure. Or you can make your your country, your nation, the safest in the Western Hemisphere.
Him by his tattoos. Angelica says her husband has no links with gangs. She's heard nothing further about him since he was arrested under emergency powers brought in March 2022 by President Bukele. Through satellite,
Who got voted in the following election by a supermajority because everyone was like, hang on a minute, we can go out in the streets again. In El Salvador, you couldn't go out in the daytime. It was owned by the gangs.
imagery, data released by the Salvadoran government, and documents seen by BBC Mundo, we've gathered information about the site. There are 8 cell blocks monitored.
Right, this is bullshit because I can show you footage here. El Salvador, what's it called again? Sencot or something. Secot. They haven't tried to hide it. They've got YouTubers here. Oh, look, I watched this one the other day.
Now, when an inmate walks into this door, he never leaves.
The El Salvadorian government said to this fella, yeah, you can come in and have a look round.
Here are some of the most dangerous people in the world. You can see that they have their tattoos. MS-13 is tattooed on their foreheads. Barrio 18. All these guys were once prideful and running the streets of El Salvador. Now they are locked behind bars for the rest of their lives. And he is taking them through.
They're never coming out. They don't ever get out. You kill someone, you go to prison forever. You know, that's natural justice.
Through a workout where they're doing lunges and they're going to touch their toes for 10 seconds. The guards here would have everything they need to take down the prisoners. They have just asked the prisoners to take off their shirts so they can show some of their tattoos. As you can see right here, you can see all the tattoos from the 18s on their chest.
I mean, look at all those innocent young men. I mean, come on. I mean, there they are, just innocent young men. What do you think of it, people? Seriously, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the chat. I think the proof is in the pudding. You couldn't walk the streets in El Salvador. It was 4 times as dangerous as Haiti. You know how bad Haiti is? You couldn't go out. And now it looks like Soho. It's like cafe culture. And it's like a new country. They've got their country back. It's worked. It's worked. Now, are there some people in there that probably shouldn't be in there? Yes. Bukele has even said that. But he said when you're dealing with 70,000 prisoners, it takes time. It takes time. I mean, a lot of them look pretty guilty to me.
The 13s. ¿Y todavía se sienten orgullosos de ser bandero?
Wicked actual analog synths there. Like, I've seen videos where they're saying, look at them in there like animals. Like, there's nothing in there. They cannot make shivs like you can in British prisons. You can't bend a bit of metal off all that bed and sharpen it up on the floor. These places, there's been no trouble in there. And there's like something like there's 2 walls around the prison. One of them's 27 foot tall. And the guards have shotguns.
Today I'm here in El Salvador outside of Secot.
Yeah, we don't need to see all that bit. That's just him walking in. But let's have a look at this bit. This is the interesting bit. How El Salvador has changed. So this is what Bukele has done to the nation of El Salvador, that the West financed a civil war that gave rise to the gangs.
Have committed. And it is important for you watching this video to
don't forget, you know, I support the USA. I support the UK. But they have done some shitty things. Let's not pretend they're all great. And yeah, we know what the British government's like. We know what previous American governments have been like. They funded a civil war. And so someone else had to mop up the mess. Check out these figures.
to understand just how dangerous this country used to be. This country used to be controlled by gangs such as MS-13 and Barrio 18, as they would make secret pacts with presidents and political leaders here inside the country. However, in 2019, Nayib Bukele was elected as president, and since then, the homicide rates have dropped to record lows, and now it is safer to be here inside El Salvador than it is to be inside the United States or Canada. It is literally the safest country in the entire Western Hemisphere.
It is the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. I know I keep saying this, but go and check it out yourself. You used to not be able to go out in El Salvador. Literally, if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to sort of sneak out of your house into a car, drive it as fast as you can to work, get into work, and then they'd lock all the doors up, because people were looking for people to kidnap and to shoot and show their power. And they were colluding with governments. Like they were saying to governments, if you want us to stop shooting, you've got to give us this. You've got to give us this land, that land, this money. You've got to let us move drugs through the country. And it's all stopped.
And come with me today as we enter into SECOT, and I will show you what life is like for the prisoners here, what they are doing to make sure that these people will never leave. And I'm going to show you the technology that they are using inside of this jail to make sure.
This is quite interesting, though. In any UK prison, you can just stick drugs up your ass or up your fanny and just go in, and then when you're having your visit, you just pull them out and hand them over to the missus, or usually the missus to a fella inside. Another one is to put it in your mouth, and then you pick up your cup of tea, you spit it into it, and then the prisoner picks up the same cup of tea and just swallows it, and it goes down into his stomach. When he's searched on his way in, he's all right. 7 days later, comes out the bottom. But this place uses actual x-rays. Anyone's got a visiting order, they can tell you if they can tell if you've got in your stomach, in your mouth, up your ass, up your fanny.
Sure that this country is as safe as can be. Inside this jail, you get absolutely no service. These prisoners have absolutely no contact with the outside world, and they have no way.
That's a really important thing. Most of you probably won't know this, but in UK prisons, usually about half the people have got telephones, mobile phones. Did you know that? Listen to this. One of the easiest places to score drugs in England is in prison. Yep. Listen to this. Most of you probably won't know this. In England, prisons have a drug-free wing. So if you want to get clean, you go to the drug-free wing. That is the prisons admitting that there is endless drug dealing going on in prisons. If you've got a drug-free fucking wing, come on. There's no drugs going on in here. No one in here has got any telephones. I see a geezer stick 2 telephones in his ass once. He had a VO to see a mate of his, and he put 2 telephones in his ass. He shit them out while he was chatting to his mate, and then they just done it under the table. 2 fucking phones. They were those tiny little ones though, from about 94. It weren't an iPhone. He didn't walk in there like John Wayne. But there's no 4G or Wi-Fi in this prison. They've stopped it. So even if you did manage to get a telephone in, which you can't, as you'll see, there's no way of talking out.
Of getting a hold of anybody. And the reason why
I'll tell you something I've done once. Allegedly, a geezer I used to work for, he was in Belmarsh on remand. And Belmarsh at the time had nets all over the yard. So they put netting over the yard because people used to just throw drugs over. At a certain time of day, they'd throw drugs over, just in a sock or whatever. Usually heroin and crack, but occasionally, some solid ash or whatever. But there's not as much money in that, and there's not as much power in that. you know, what someone in prison would do for a £5 joey of heroin, they're not going to do for a fucking joint. And also people don't like smoking weed in prison because it stays in your system for 3 or 4 months, whereas heroin's out your system in about 5 days. That's why most prisoners go in prison without a habit and come out with a smack habit. But don't worry, because in British prisons, before they leave, they say, have you got a habit while you've been in there, while you've been in here? And when they say yes, they give them methadone on leaving so that they don't start withdrawing. And then they get a methadone script. Are you fucking joking me? What kind of prison does that? I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was banged up and I had an habit and they let me out, I'd be over the moon for that. But you shouldn't be able to get heroin in fucking prison. You shouldn't be able to get it. And when you're in prison, the day you turn up to prison, they say, have you got an habit? And you say, yeah, they get your methadone sorted. Back in the day, you'd rattle it, that you'd get an heberephrine or something. And that's it. You just rattled it. And your pad mate would smash your head against the wall if you started shivering and shitting yourself and puking all night. Not anymore. No, here's your methadone. You'll be all right, son. How much are you using? Oh, 10 bags a day. I need 100 mil meth. Yeah, no problem. It's all on the taxpayer. Don't worry. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but the idea that you've got a drug-free wing in every UK prison. Anyway, check some more of this out.
They cut off the self-service here inside this building because gang members used to be able to run their gangs from inside these jails. However, with these new rules that they have implemented, such as cutting off the service, these gang members have absolutely no contact with the outside world. I then went through the first of many security checkpoints. And now they're going to do another check with us to make sure that we are not bringing anything inside of this jail. They're going to pat me all the way down, and they are even going to check my socks to make sure I don't have anything inside my shoes or my socks. And here inside of SECOT, everything is so simple. They're not leaving any room for any clutter or for anything to be used as potentially a harmful object or something to be misplaced.
And now the warden of SECOT will describe the type of criminals that are inside the prison.
Aquí tenemos a los peores criminales que causaban luto y dolor a nuestra sociedad salvadoreña. Lo que tenemos acá encerrado es lo peor de lo peor. Son sujetos que han cometido una serie de delitos, de homicidios, extorsiones, violaciones, privaciones de libertad. Sujetos que tienen...
I would guess that deprivation of liberty is a bad translation of kidnapping.
Condenas hasta más de 1000 años ahí.
And now all the criminals inside of this prison are here for life. They're going to be living inside of SECOT until they die.
So you see that BBC thing where
for the rest of their life. And he's
where you see that BBC thing where he was going on about you know, we've used satellite maps and they've got this massive prison. They're not hiding it. It's the BBC trying to make it look like they're trying to hide it. No, not at all. You know, I've seen about 5 YouTubers go into this prison. Bukele's not hiding anything. He's quite happy to show the world. Why? Because it's fucking worked.
Who went round Guantanamo with a camera? Who did they let in?
I don't remember that.
I don't think there was anybody, was there?
Hello, Emma. Hello, Emma. Hi. Anyway.
A sus mismos miembros, a sus familiares para introducir cosas.
Look at that X-ray machine. It's better than what you get at airports. I've allegedly gone through loads of airports where you put your arms up in the air and that thing spins around you. They're so easy to get through. This is an actual X-ray machine. Look, you can see the fucker's lungs.
Vía oral, vía vaginal o vía anal. Ahora el día es imposible que alguien pueda sorprendernos.
The scanner will literally scan the entire body to make sure there's nothing on the neck, inside the stomach, or even the place where nobody would ever want to go, the butthole. It'll literally...
Which is pretty much where everyone puts their stuff they take into British prisons. In the bank.
check anywhere inside of the body to make sure that they're not bringing any sort of plastic bag that could be filled with powder, any weapons, anything like that, that
I
family
didn't
members or
finish
friends
my
might have tried to
story,
bring.
did I? So I had this fella I used to work for in Belmarsh. He was in Belmarsh on remand, and they put nets over the whole of the yard so that people couldn't throw socks full of drugs over and all that. And you know that when you hear that, you think, hang on a minute, what? You just throw them over? Anyone could have them? No, because if anyone gets them, someone's going to see it, and word gets back to the shop caller, and they're going to visit your cell in about 10 minutes, and they're going to take their drugs and probably some of your limbs with you. Anyway, he's gone to me, listen, he said, it's all netted up. He said, the yard's all netted up. And I was like, oh, won't be able to bring you anything, because I didn't want to put myself at risk, you know, it's a weird one, Belmarsh. You had to go through this like wooded area, and then like if anyone here does any fishing, do you know the maggot pulse? It's a catapult, but for maggots. It's got quite a hefty sort of cup on it, and you fill it full of maggots, and you sort of ping, and it, you know, you sort of prep your swim, so that then when you put your maggot out, the fish, there's like, oh, a load of fish come because there's loads of little maggots, and there's your one. And that's how we used to ping the little bags of drugs over, but they put all these nets over. And I was like, and he's talking to me from his mobile phone from Belmarsh Nick. And he went to me, he went, listen, he said, some geezer's going to turn up at your house later. I can't remember how much it was, a couple of grand. He wanted me to get 3.5 ounces of brown, that's smack, heroin, right? He said to me, chop it up into 10 bags. I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell. Like, there's a lot of 10 bags in an ounce of brown. Let me work it out. Oh, fucking hell. 1 ounce, 1 gram. 1 gram is 5. 28 grams to an ounce. 525 is 125. Times 28, 125 times 28. Yeah, I think I got that right. 125 times 28 equals 3,000. Yeah, so 3,500, 3.5. So I had to do about 10,000 bags, right? You get pretty good at it in the end, but it still took about 4 days and 2 of us doing it. I mean, we got dinosaur trees. Yes, I've had sinusitis. So I spoke about it for the first hour of the video. The grift's dried up a bit, people. I am still sick. I've closed entropy down, haven't I? I better open that up, actually. Ah, bollocks. Sorry if anyone's donated via entropy. Let me just open it up again. If anyone's donated via entropy, let me just open it up again. Oh, it's still there. Oh, but I've got to open up entropy, haven't I? Entropy is working, but no one did. Right. And then he said to me, I want you to freeze them in like batches of 500 bags. And this was the plan. Ping them over as ice. They sit on the netting. And then, of course, when that ice slowly melts, all those little 10 and 20 bags fall down into the yard. And I done it once, allegedly. And after that, I said, mate, it ain't worth the hassle. And he said, it's worth the hassle because when I come out here and you haven't done that. And then he got about 9 years. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to call it a day on this one. On Ram has dropped a lady. Hello from... No shit, is it Ollie Reagan? You are joking. Is that really you, Ollie? What an absolute! I'm not that well. I've just had sinusitis, but I've absolutely cheered up doing this stream. And how lovely to see you, Ollie. That's an absolute pleasure. Ollie, I'll have to get you on WhatsApp and we'll have a chat. How's tricks? How lovely to see you. Well, not see you, but, you know, how very kind of you. John Palmer's dropped a 5 spot. I mean, it is gone 3 o'clock in the morning here, you know. Gets a bit more expensive as the night goes on. John says, you've made me happy, bruv. Thanks for making us all feel good and bringing us together. And say thanks to Danger too. Thanks, Packer, you fucker. I can't believe. I was so full of joy reading that. I was so... I'll give you that one, JP. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, JP. I know you're only telling the truth.
Cheers, John. Thank you, John.
So yeah, they're not. Where's the bit when they are? This is quite an interesting bit. But the point is, they're not hiding it. I want to show you the block though. I want to show you down. If you
gang members in the past, now it is impossible for
done solitary in a British nick, it sends you mad. I don't know how Tommy Robinson survived. What did he do? Something like 6 months solitary for his own good. Yeah, but his psychotherapist thought that when he come out. Check out solitary in this place. Actual punishment. So if you fuck up, we'll have a look. Hang on. Let me know that you can hear it.
To even enter. All right, now we've entered into where these gang members are going to be. We're going to go face to face with some of the most dangerous people in the world. And as I've been in the process, Buenos dias. Buenos dias. So here are all the inmates. As you can see, they are all tattooed up. They have their gang signs up there. Holy cow, you can see tattoos. And how many people are inside one cell?
La capacidad real instalada de cada celda es para 80 personas, pero hay celdas que tienen más y hay celdas que tienen menos.
Here are some of the most dangerous people in the world. You can see they have their tattoos. MS-13 is tattooed on their foreheads. Barrio 18, and there.
And again, if you've missed it, they ain't ever getting out. There's no parole. You don't. Once you go in this place, you're out. Your life's over because you killed people. You done awful things. Now they are going through them and slowly. You know, when families make an appeal, they are slowly trying to process that. But when you put 70,000 people into a prison, that's a slow process. But you know, look at the Guildford 5, was it? The Birmingham 6 and all that lot. How many British prisoners have been inside for decades? And Irish, I should say.
Here for life, and they can never leave. And inside of these prison cells, literally everything happens inside. Here is their bath and their shower. And if they want to go poop or pee, they have to do it in front of everybody. These prisoners have absolutely no control and no freedom here inside of Secot.
You're muted, Chris.
I was just saying, where's their pool tables and their televisions and their nice cozy beds and all that? You know, the amount of people I know who see prison as part of the job and have a better life when they're inside, because when they're outside, they're homeless. You know, they've got no money. When they're inside, they've got nothing to worry about. They get 3 meals a day. They got a nice comfy bed. They haven't got to do anything. They haven't got to work. We pay for it.
And each person inside of this jail is responsible for at least a death of one person. So each person you see right here has killed various people. There's literally no freedom inside of these prison cells. And the only type of freedom they get is they can come over here to this area right here where they looks like they have a preacher and they have some workouts.
You've seen enough of it. I just want to see if there's, I wanted you to see the solitary, because solitary is bad anyway, but this is bad. Check it.
Inside these cells, and these are the rooms of solitary confinement. If a prisoner were to act up, he'd be sent into one of these rooms here. Here they have their bathroom, they get some water, and the only sort of light they have is this little peephole right up here, and they get absolutely nothing to use to sleep or to rest. Just pure concrete. Now, in case of a riot or whatever breakout, they have...
Look at all the kit they've got there. I mean, that weird plastic thing is weird, but look at it all.
Have all the equipment to take back to the prison. Right here we have a guard. He has a shield. He has protection from head to toe. And now we're going to go into where all the guns are at and also show you guys that as well. The guards here would have everything they need to take down.
And like I say, there's about 5 of these videos where Bukele has just let YouTubers in. He hasn't let the BBC in. Fuck the BBC. I'll see if I can find that video. But he's so cunnish. He's like, what, you know, what about human rights? What about this? What about that? And he says, this is our country. It's not your country. We have different problems to you. And we have to sort them out. And we have.
Down the prisoners. Has any inmate ever got violent with one of the guards here inside SUBSTACK?
Hasta este momento no hemos tenido ningún intento de fuga, por decir así, o de desorden al interior de la prisión.
These are the handcuffs the guards use to move the prisoners around. They put them around their legs, around their arms, and they have to walk just like this once they get them on, because the shackles do not go that far. Inside the jail, what kind of food are the prisoners given?
En la mañana, por lo general, lo que viene es frijol, queso o crema y 2 tortillas. El menú casi se repite en la cena. Donde varía es el almuerzo, que en el almuerzo te viene una porción de arroz, una porción de pasta, 2 tortillas y un refresco.
And so they're not given any sort of meat or any chicken.
No existe un menú que te traiga pollo o carne para el privado de libertad. No existe.
Here inside SUBSTACK, there are 8 different buildings that are designated to the prisoners.
In one of the comments, we've seen enough of that now. If you're interested, go and check out some more. Hang on. But when you read the comments, you're going to be blown away, because the leftists are mad. They're like, this is a scandal. This is a scandal of human rights. And did you see that bloke then? He said, the people here don't get meat. And it's like, oh no, they should be having like fucking Gordon Ramsay going in and cooking them food. And it's like, these are murderers. They've killed children. They've kidnapped children, chopped their arms off and sent them to the parents.
You thought the lefties would be happy with all these involuntary vegetarians, wouldn't you? So it's a load more to the fold, isn't it?
Seriously, I know, Eleanor. I mean, for a country that's going down the pan, like, I mean, with these 24-hour process, you're nicked, you didn't do anything, 2-tier Kia, you're in prison for 2 years. And what's beautiful about Bukele, he says, this is our country. We've got different problems, so we've got different solutions, and it's worked. So you do what you do in your country, but you don't get to tell us what we do. And he says it at this big sort of, I suppose it's like a press event. So what do we reckon, people? What do you make of it? What do you make of the whole idea? Hello, Rollo. I've had sinusitis, mate. I'm just on the mend last few days.
I'm not overly keen on the leader of a country building a massive prison and throwing everybody in there that you don't like right at this moment in British history. I don't think that's I'm not overly comfortable with that idea right at the minute where Keir Starmer is.
Yeah, but okay, Packer, but what if I said to you that the British police should implement the laws that we've already got?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think we should implement the political system that we've already got.
And the laws.
Yeah.
Because there's laws that we don't implement. There's laws where it's been proven that the police and the judiciary colluded with social services to protect certain groups so as to not cause problems. So you've got, radical problems require radical solutions. I would obviously rather not have a country where there's 70,000 people sitting in a prison. But you know what I want less than that? A country run by criminals. And that's the choice the Bukele and the voters had. I mean, look, I'm not putting this on you, Packer, because it's ridiculous. I'm just sort of starting conversation and get the chat involved. But what do you do when your country is run by gangsters? You can't sort of be sort of all friendly and say, look, we'll have an amnesty. If you give us all your money and your drugs and your weapons, we'll let you off. Because that's what the other one's done, and they just took the piss out of them.
Yeah, ban guns. That's a good start, because then everyone will stop getting shot. Because that happens straight away when you ban guns.
You ain't gonna ban guns, though, are you? That's never happening. Guns are illegal in England, and there's, I can get there. It's so easy to get hold of. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're not very good, but let's have a little look at them. Oh dear. Let's see this short. Let's have a look at this short. I've never seen this short before. Let's make that a little bit bigger, shall we? I'm going to go like that.
Their truck. Remember these mega prisons? Well, El Salvador's government says they're working. According to government figures, the murder rate in the country has dropped significantly. Some 74,000 people have been arrested since President Bukele waged a war on gangs. Last year, over 150 people a day were sent to prison. Although thousands were freed by judges, the alleged gang members that are still locked up aren't allowed to go outside or even have visitors. Human rights organizations have criticized the government for unfairly jailing citizens on suspicion of being linked to the gangs and for the system's lack of rehabilitation. Remember these mega...
Rehabilitation. I don't know. How do I get rid of this? I need 42 to help me. I don't want the new layout. I want the old layout. There we go. Hello, Packer. So, chat, anyone want to come on and talk about that? Anyone think it's really bad? Anyone not agree with it? That's what I'd be interested in. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect, but it's never going to be perfect. We're humans, and the country was an absolute mess. You've got to go in hard when it's an absolute mess. These aren't a couple of football hooligans. These are people that were dealing in global drugs. They had weapons that some bigger than some countries had. And he said, this is what I'll do. You vote for me, I'll do this. And he got a super majority, and he's been voted back in, I think, twice now. They love him out there. They've got their country back. It's weird, isn't it? A weird little situation. See you later, Skin. Nice to see you, mate. Always a pleasure. Oh, God. What, really? You're in service or you in trouble? You've probably gone now. Well, whatever it is, I hope you're all right. Robert, it's just one of the, yeah, it's a peculiar angle, isn't it? Let me see if I can find that video just quickly about where he talks to the BBC. Yeah, I found it. Right, it's 12 minutes long, right, people? But I think it's worth it. I think it's a good summary to what we've been watching. And if you get bored, it's a good time to make a donation. Yeah, Packer's onto it. Lovely. It's 3:30 in the morning. Right, check this out. What exactly, Eleanor? Exactly. He's a judge. Spanish Chicken says Skin and Tonic's a judge. That's why he's going to court in the morning. Good call. John says, if it's a benevolent dictator doing it, it sounds fantastic, but otherwise it sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
He's been, I agree, John, I agree. I said that earlier. I mean, I believe in a benevolent dictatorship. I think it's a good way of running a country. If the dictator and his people put the people and the nation first, I think that's a good political system. I think it's a fuck lot better than what we've got in England or Britain, for a start. One of this is what threw me, John. You probably weren't here early when I was talking about it, but a lot of the comments in these videos are saying, "Do you really want to give the government those kinds of powers?" And I don't. I want the smallest government possible, but I do want to give the judiciary powers to implement the laws of the land, and that's what he's done. That is exactly what he's done. Now, will he survive? Will he survive 5-10 years without getting shot? I can't see the globalists putting up with him. Whether it's a violent attack or just smearing him, to the point where he just, everyone thinks he's nicked loads of money or, something like that. Just smear him out of his reputation. That's another option they could do. That's got plenty. Hello, Baz, by the way. I don't think I said hello to you. I mean, if you ask me where I'd like to live at the moment, yeah, there you go, Yiz. There you go. And, how did that turn out? Yeah, also check out this. We'll watch a little bit of this. I do think it's worth watching. I am reading your comments, people, because I am interested. That's hello, historical doppelganger, by the way. They'll isolate him like North Korea. Well, that's an interesting take, and no one knows the future. But interestingly, all the countries around that sort of, the northern part of South America, your Bolivias and your Venezuelas and all that, they're all starting to look at what Bukele is doing, and they're starting to think, well, hang on a minute, we're going down the pan. And so people, the political parties are starting up who are saying, similar kinds of ideas. Let's get our country back. So this is it. You can see that there. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on. Let me just get this right. I mean, I still don't, I haven't settled on what I think about it, but you can't argue that it's gone from one of the most dangerous places in the world to one of the safest places in the world. Something's worked there. And it might not be ideal. Hello, Galileo's tongue. How are you, son? Long time no see. An absolute pleasure. Do you know about this Bukele bloke? The El Salvadorian president? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Smear his reputation, and then of course there'll be sanctions and all that kind of lark, and then they won't be able to trade. And as soon as you can't trade, that's when people have got you over a barrel. So you might be able to see that at the top. Don't teach us how to run our country. Our El Salvador present schools reporter. Now, here's the thing. This was on India Today, but the reporter who asks him is a BBC reporter. And I haven't managed to find this clip on any of the BBC channels. Let me just make sure I've got it right, because I do think it's worth watching. And I think it'll be a good summary for the whole conversation we've had. Here we go.
The right way, you take your best government and you put him to govern Afghanistan and tell them, okay.
Right, this is just a little sort of hook at the beginning. We might as well run through that. Right, so we've seen all. We might as well watch that bit actually.
His re-election to a second term in office on February 5th.
You hear it?
In his first term, Bukele gave overarching powers to security forces to fight gangs in the Central American nation. More than 75,000 people were arrested in less than 2 years, leading to a drastic cut in the influence that gangs had on civilian lives. But human rights organizations have said that hundreds have been unlawfully jailed as part of Bukele's stringent policies. According to one NGO, more than 6,000 Salvadorans have disappeared since Bukele assumed power. At this press conference, a BBC reporter mentioned some of these charges while naming a man called Jose Alvarado, whose disappearance.
So this Jose Alvarado, I looked into it, and essentially the globalists have focused on this one bloke whose family have said, oh, he disappeared during the government raids, and we don't know where he is, and we can't get anything out of the government. And you know, Bukele's not an idiot. He knows what they're doing, and his response to it is just fantastic.
Has made news in the foreign press.
Right, so you can see the subtitles, yeah? I'll just take it back a bit because I talked over it. But this is a BBC reporter, okay? Just bear that in mind. Hello, Josh.
While naming a man called Jose Alvarado, whose disappearance has made news in the foreign press.
Case that I've been looking at a young man called Jose Mata Alvarado, and I can pass obviously on all the details to your team. His mother was bringing food to the prison where he was at. It turns out he'd been moved to the Secot some weeks, months in fact, earlier, while she was faithfully bringing.
The Secot is obviously the prison we just looked at.
Food to the prison. Seems like he's completely lost in the system. And there are two órdenes de liberación in his name, one as recently as June last year, and yet he's simply not been released, even though the 20 days is obviously now 6 months ago, by which time he should have been out. I'm wondering what if your intention is to sort of work on the legal side of things.
The way the BBC talk as if their ridiculous leftist fucking plundering nation has got anything, it just drives me mad.
Assuming you win today and that you are president for the next 5 years.
And he did win this election, and he is this. I think this was about 3 years ago.
Yes.
Well, it's important to say that every police in the world, because I find this somewhat amusing when they say, oh, but you know, in El Salvador, they arrest people and some of the arrested are innocent. And I'm a little baffled because I wonder if in the UK, all of the arrests are of guilty people, or your police sometimes arrest innocent people. I mean, I bet there will be a percentage of people arrested by UK police, the police of the government that you work for, and they will arrest sometimes innocent people as a mistake or because they had a
and there's historical cases of loads of people and they were kept in prison for 20, 30 years.
A wrong tip, but they will go to a judicial system. If there were no arrest of innocents if there was one police in the world, one police force, UK, Spain, France, you name it, any country, the US, Canada, any police force that has 0% of margin of error. They only arrest guilty people. Why will you need prosecutors or defense or a justice system? You won't need that because the police is perfect in your country. So every country in the world will have an imperfect police. Now, it is different when you have in countries that promote ethnic cleansing, for example, or they promote or they arrest political opponents, or they arrest a minority. But in our case, all of the arrests are made to end the bloodshed that we lived for decades, and we have ended it. Now, did our police made a couple of mistakes? Of course they did. That's why our judicial system has been freed innocent people, and they will free every innocent people that the police has wrongly arrested. And we have already freed 7,000 people. Now, I would assume that the criticism may come from an hypothetical country that doesn't have any arrest of innocents. But I'm sure that in the UK, they do plenty of arrest of innocent people, and then they are proven innocent in court. But sometimes, and we have seen a lot of cases in the US, in the UK, in Europe, that they find them, that they're innocent 20, 30 years after being convicted because they found some DNA evidence. So what does that mean? That means that you shouldn't arrest criminals? No, it means that police made a mistake and some retributions have to be made to the people that have been arrested wrongfully. But we don't think, we think it's weird, or we're baffled by the criticism of something that you well know that any police in the world would make, which is a small percentage of innocent people.
It's amazing that he says it's weird, we're baffled that, you know, you make a small series of mistakes. He knows exactly what he's talking about. That BBC bloke is he's just got his head up his arse at this point, and the bloke ain't even started yet.
People getting in the net.
One point on that, of course,
Yes.
though, is that 75,000 people in the space of a year isn't regularly arrested by police anywhere else in the world, and that this is a unique situation with unique powers given to the security forces to make arrests on site according to criteria deemed by them.
Yes.
Right, you please listen closely to this next bit, right? Because this is brilliant. The BBC bloke thinks he's got him. Well, it's hardly the same because you've arrested 75,000 people in the space of a year. But old Bukele's no fool. Check it. This is beautiful.
Of course, because you don't live in the world murder capital. So when you don't live in the world murder capital, it's because you don't have enough murderers to fill a prison like ours. Because the difference is that in the UK is not the world murder capital. El Salvador was, by your own account.
It will be in a couple of years. He's certainly getting there.
The world murder capital. So if we have the world murder capital, the most dangerous place in the world, the place in the world with the most murders, why is that? Because we have the place in the world with the biggest amount of murderers. So of course, you cannot arrest 70,000 people because you don't have 70,000 murderers because you're not the murder capital of the world. But we did have 70,000 murderers, and that's just a number that coincidentally is the number that we arrested. Every study made by the World Bank, by the NGOs, by the experts, way before our government established that there were at least 70,000 gang members and 500,000 collaborators. That was established not by our government, but by NGOs, by the experts in the topic. They always said El Salvador has at least 70,000 gang members and 500,000 collaborators. So you would expect
that's really important. That not only have you got the members, you got the people. Now, I do think the collaborators are the innocents. They're the wives and the kids and the uncles and, you know, the bloke who runs the shop at the end of the street. If you don't do what these gangs say, they'll just chop your hands off. So, you know, you've got to do something about it. But he hasn't even got to the best bit yet. It's really good.
That to end that, you will need to arrest 570,000 people. But of course, we want to be careful and don't arrest the lady that probably helped because she thought that she needed to help because her life was in danger. So we're sparing 85% of the tally that the organizations that you finance established way before our government. So why do we have the biggest incarceration rate in the world? Because we changed the murder capital of the world's most dangerous country, into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere.
And you know, I know I've said that a few times, but let that sink in. The most dangerous country in the world. I mean, just having the balls and the knowledge and the tactics and you know, if you look at his political journey, he worked with the communists, he worked with the people on the other end of the spectrum, he worked with different groups, he knew how to do it so that he could slowly work his way into power. You know, what commitment, what incredible commitment to the cause. And then he put it to the people. If you vote for me, I'll do this. Got a super majority, done it, and now it's safer in El Salvador that had a Western-funded civil war, which he'll come to in a minute. And for me, that's the real kicker. And it's now it's safer than England, it's safer than France, it's safer than Germany, Sweden, Italy, America.
And the only way to do that is to arrest all the murderers. There's no other way to do it. Well, the other way to be to kill all the murderers, but we don't have death penalty, so we have to arrest all the murderers. So you say, why is such a big number? Well, what do you expect? That we arrest 100 people and we leave 69,900 gang members in the streets and suddenly the murder rate will drop? Or do you expect that we, because we're Salvadorans or something, because we're second-class citizens or something, we have to die? They have to kill our families, they have to kill our children, they have to...
That's exactly what the BBC thinks, yes. Yes, because they're crowing about human rights. That is what they think. You should do it like they do in England. You should just find these people, individuals, and put them through a 2-year trial where they appeal and then have another appeal and then the jury gets changed and then it's just ridiculous. He's absolutely sussed the fuck out of this bloke and he still hasn't got to the best bit.
Because your liberal ideas of what a democracy should be have to be respected, and we, since we're not using your recipe, then we have to be killed. We have to let our children be killed. We have to let the bloodshed to go on for 50 years because of imported policies from your countries, because your countries had lecturers in the 80s, the war. You had a fight with the Soviet Union, had nothing to do with us. What did you do? You financed El Salvador to fight a war between us, between brothers. And
Wow. Yeah, that actually happened. Look it up, people. In the 80s, the Cold War, the Americans and the British funded El Salvador. They funded the communists and they funded the opposition and they created a civil war in El Salvador. It's fucking brilliant. And he's just said to this bloke, well, you've heard it. And he's just, that's amazing. You screwed our country. And now you come here telling us how to run our country. I mean, it's even beautiful the way he does. He's not, I'd be screaming at that bloke, but he's just talking absolute sense. And this is why he keeps getting elected.
We killed each other, and 85,000 Salvadorans died. After that, 1 million displaced. They went to the US, into ghettos. They formed the gangs. Then they deport the gangs. Gangs come here. You send us another recipe. Law to don't arrest minors. Okay? But
there you go. Did you hear that? So when the after the Civil War and it all kicked off and then all the gangs were formed, they went to America and formed ghettos. And then the Americans sent all those gangs back to El Salvador. And well, you can imagine what happened, as he just said then. And then they started saying, you can't deal with them like that. You've got to deal with them with our we created the problem for you. Now you've got to use our crappy liberal policies to deal with it.
All the gang members were minors at the time. So gangs grew, and then they terrorized the country. They started killing people, and we became the murder capital of the world. Nobody could solve it. We took the recipes from the OAS, we took the recipes from the UN, we took the recipes from the European Union, we took the recipes from the United States. None of the recipes worked. More bloodshed, more people were dying. So what do? Okay, we do something and we save people. And now we're the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. But suddenly something's bad. Oh, but you shouldn't do that. You should do what I think you should do. Why? Not only we have the right to do what we think is right, and what the Salvadoran people are going to decide whether or not they want this day in free elections, but also we've proven it works. And you haven't proven that your system works in our country. Might work in yours, I don't know. But it doesn't work in ours.
It's such a middle finger to globalism. We do it how we want to do it. We don't do it how you. It might work in your country. By the way, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It's just brilliant.
It's like I told one time a member of the European Union. I know you Brexited that, but I told a member of the European Union, you take your best government. Choose your best government. I don't know what's the best government in Europe, but you choose your best government. Same people, same talent, same experts, same will to do things the right way. You take your best government and you put him to govern Afghanistan and tell them, okay, you govern Afghanistan the same way you govern this European country. You'll be dead in a week because you cannot govern Afghanistan like you govern Europe. So stop trying.
Well, that's amazing bit of foresight on his part.
Trying to make us use your recipes because they don't work here. You have your own system. We don't tell you that you shouldn't have a monarchy. I mean, we're fine with your monarchy. We love your monarchy. It's fine. But we don't say, oh, you shouldn't have a monarchy and you shouldn't have hereditary titles. Why? Because it's your country. You can do whatever you want with it. But suddenly we have to do what you want to do with our country. So what I'm gonna finish the question is that this has been proven by all of you and by all independent sources. El Salvador was turned from the most dangerous place in the world to the safest in the Western Hemisphere. That's not a small feat, and that's not done easily. And nobody in the world has ever done it before, so fast and so clean like we have done it here, with no civilian casualties. So, I don't know. I know it's different. I know the numbers from the UK and ours will be different for maybe a couple of decades, but we're doing our best here, and we're really trying, and the Salvadoran people today are going to vote freely in free and fair elections and in full democracy and choose their own path. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. And they did vote for him in that. That was the second election. I think did you hear his little dig? He said, you haven't got the same numbers of us. You might not have for 10, 20 years. So there you go, people. There are issues there. There are problems. I don't like big government. I don't want this to turn into a massive government, but I do believe in a judiciary that implements laws. And if people break those laws, they lose their liberty because they've killed people, they've kidnapped people, they've done all sorts of awful things to. And when you kill one person, you don't just destroy that person's life. That the whole family. It's very hard to recover from an unnecessary death in the family. It's hard enough to recover from a medical death in a family, but just the whole country was just a gangland. The most dangerous place in the world. And did you hear what he said? No civilian casualties. And like I say, if someone said to me, "Will you debate me on Bukele?" At this stage, I'd say no, because I haven't thought about it enough. I'm sort of in the honeymoon period of it, because you can't deny the fact that it was the most dangerous place in the world, and now one of the safest places in the world, certainly the safest in the Western Hemisphere. But I don't like big government. So there is, you know, I'm nowhere near that BBC bloke saying, oh, well, what about so-and-so's, he's disappeared. I mean, give me a break. People going to prison in England for putting stickers on lampposts. So there you go, people. I was only going to do 30 minutes and tell you why I've been away. I probably won't do another stream for a couple of days because this has taken it out of me. You know, it's 3:45 in the morning. I really should have gone to sleep. But it's really cheered me up doing it. It's lovely to see you again, Packer. It's lovely to see all the scrubs. And, yeah, but they sent them all back. Who's that? Pauline, they sent them all back. They sent all the youngsters who are the gangs back to El Salvador and said, you can't punish minors. It was all part of the plan to destabilize El Salvador as part of the Cold War in the 80s. They created a civil war. It was both sides were funded and armed by the West. That's why they don't like him. You know, he's a nationalist. He said, this is our country. We do what we want. We've had a democratic vote, and they're going to have another one today. And if they have another one today, they like what we're doing. And they did have another one, and he did win it, and they're still doing it. Can you imagine what that's like for the people in El Salvador who've lived for decades under gang rule? I mean, that's a war. It's a war where every day, I think there was something stupid like 1,000 people a day were getting shot in El Salvador at the height of the problems. And now it's like none. So I'm not in a position to fully defend it, but I am in a position to feel at the moment that you can't argue with the facts that have been presented. And I can't come up with any alternatives to dealing with what he's managed to achieve. So at the moment, I'm very pro Bukele. That's where I stand at the moment. Let me find something nice and appropriate for the outro. Don't forget, Packer, give that one a point. If you put your camera over that QR code, you can make a donation, and you'll get a video reply. So that's always a bit of fun. Let's go for about there. I don't know who's advertising on Mumford's videos. It's weird. How does YouTube get the right to make money from someone else's?
And there's an entropy that
Right, I think we're there. Right, can we have a P in the chat for Packer, please? Packer, thank you, mate. I think today was one of your most silent ones ever. Top work.
Can you hear me? Billy's here, and he says he sent you an entropy, but you won't understand it.
Okay, I've turned it down because I didn't want. Right, Billy said, I think you meant character assassination. I did mean that, Bill. Thank you. When asked. Human rights, Qatar is at it too, lol. You will laugh at this piss take. Okay, let me have a little look. Can I... Bill, I'm going to have to watch that first because I feel like the story arc has finished. But on the next stream, I will play that if you remind me, okay? I will do, but I'm fading fast here at the moment, and my throat's killing me. And it's the 10 to 4 in the morning. But Venezuela sends 11,000 troops to control gang-run prison with pool and zoo. There you go. There you go. That's what I said. Other countries around El Salvador, that northern tip of South America, they're looking at El Salvador, and like that prison in Venezuela has got a swimming pool and a zoo. The gangs run the prison. There's a prison in Bolivia where they manufacture cocaine. The guards and the inmates, it's a cocaine processing factory. You know, it's just, if you're not going to have radical solutions, actually, it's only 2 minutes. Let's watch it. Bless him, Bill. Bill's one of the biggest donators to this channel. They might only be small. I can't believe Anglo's in. Anglo, don't go anywhere yet. I've just racked your song up. I didn't even know you were here. Nice one, Anglo. If you can hold on, I didn't know you were here, but I'm about to play Cold Hard Still. But Bill's video is only 2 minutes, and it makes sense. Nice one for the donation, Anglo, and I hope you're well. Let's have a little look at this, because this is good call, Bill. I might get in trouble though. I don't know if you're allowed to show Al Jazeera on YouTube anymore. But this is what I was saying about countries around that northern tip of South America are looking at Bukele, and they're getting ideas. And why wouldn't they? Let me know you can hear it, people.
Victoria.
Tocaron prison has often been described as a hotel for a powerful criminal gang. It has a disco, a swimming pool, and even a zoo.
I mean, look at that one. Look. Come on. Is this a parody, Bill, or is this real? I mean, I actually don't know.
Authorities say the notorious Tren de Aragua, which is believed to have around 5,000 members, operating in at least 8 Latin American countries, has trafficked drugs and planned extortion rackets and kidnappings from inside the jail. And the situation's so bad that 11,000 heavily armed troops from the National Guard raided the prison. Many of the inmates' wives gathered at the jail gates.
We are very afraid because their rights are being violated. There are visitors, children, and pregnant women inside.
Oh, right. And what about the people they killed? I'm just, it's just a little bit of balance, maybe.
The policemen, those guards that had passed by going there towards the prison, they told us just now that they were going to kill all of them inside.
Come on. Yeah, I'm sure a cop was stuck his head out the side of his thing and went, "We're going to go and kill them all." Come on.
Reports in the local media tell of soldiers stealing inmates' belongings and robbing those who gathered to show support for the men.
My husband told me the authorities were going to take the prison, so I should get my things ready. So I brought everything, including money, but the police robbed me. All I want to know is if he's alive or dead.
Weapons were confiscated and
Right, that doesn't make sense unless she's taking things in to give to her husband. I mean, why is she taking things to the prison? That doesn't make sense. Oh, Anglo's dropped another lady. He's here till the end, son. You've kept your mouth shut, haven't you? For what? Good Lord, 2.5 hours. Nice one, Anglo. Prashikanatu. Here we go. This is madness. Fair play, Bill. Good find.
6,000 inmates will now be transferred to other prisons. Venezuela's interior minister told local TV the operation had been a success.
They were subjected to the law. They have their rights guaranteed. We respected their rights. This has been an operation where we've guaranteed the life and tranquility of the people who live around the prison. We've managed to guarantee the safety of the prisoners, and now they're going to another prison.
Human rights groups say Venezuelan jails are 50% overcrowded on average and lack adequate facilities.
Overcrowded. They killed people. These human rights people, do they live in Venezuela, do you reckon? Do you reckon they live round those jails? Did you notice that he said that bloke said that the people who live near the prisons can live normal lives again, which you'd assume means that the prisoners are allowed out of that place and they just run wild and run riot as and when they want. They run the prisons. My mate went to prison in Venezuela. I think I've told that story. That might be a good story for another stream, actually. Crazy story. When his mate in England rung up the prison to say tell him he's coming out here, they went, he's escaped. He was already at home. Anyway, but he said that it was just a prison with a wall around it with towers, with guards in it. But there was no guards in the actual prison. It was run by the prison gangs. The only reason there were guards on the outside was to stop people running out. But give them enough money, give them enough backsheesh, and you can get out for the weekend. You can get prostitutes in. You can get, nice bit of steak in. It's ridiculous. These are prisons.
For inmates. They also suffer from institutionalized corruption from within the prison service. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Good call, Bill. That was a good call. But look, this is what frustrates me. Do I think prisoners in prison should have human rights? I do, actually. I do, yes. I do. I don't think they should be whipped and punished and smashed over the head. No, I don't think that I don't think that's necessary. I think the threat and the danger has been taken off the streets, and they're being punished. They're not getting out again. They're not getting out. That's enough. But these people, when you watch some of the videos, please go and check some out. Read the comments. Most people are really into it. But suddenly you see some leftists and they're banging on about human rights, and it confused me. It confused me because they're saying things like these places haven't even got mattresses on their beds. I'm like, is that what your life is about? Is that what your life is about? Making sure that a murderer and a rapist has got somewhere nice to sleep at night. You can poke that. I'm not interested. You knew the laws. You thought you were big enough to break them, and then a bigger man, a real man, became president of the country and just enforced the laws. That's all he done. Now you pay. You always have to pay the piper, right? That did kind of make the story arc a bit weird, but anyway, Packer, look after yourself. Make sure you get a P in the chat for Packer. Look after yourself, mate. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Cheers,
yeah, great stuff, Packer. Thank you to everyone who donated. You don't know what it means to me at the moment. I know I go on about the grift and that, but there is a certain seriousness to it at the moment. So thank you very much, and thanks to Rags for saving the stream with the crackling. What a nice bloke to ring me up and tell me how to sort it out, and I done it and it worked. That's lovely. And the boy Cray was here. The only moderators who never have to do anything, but they're still the best moderators in the world. And most of all the rest of you, I feel great. I haven't felt this good for the last 2 weeks. I thought I was going to die last week. If you missed the beginning of the stream, I had sinusitis. And if you think that's a laughing matter, trust me, I honestly thought I was going to die. But I've been on the mend for the last few days. But just talking to you lot, Seeing you all here. Thank you, everyone who sent me nice emails, just asking if I was all right, because you know, I've been off the radar, so to speak. So thank you all very much. I love this place. Bless you all. Don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them, because we do forget, and you do need to tell them. People need to know this. They need to hear it. You think that they know it, but when you tell them, it warms their hearts. Look after yourselves. This is a bit of Bally G. We call it the cold, the hard, the still. It would have been better if I'd have timed that a bit better, wouldn't it? We call it the cold, the hard, and the still. But there's still going to be a quiet bit at the beginning. Let me get rid of my boat race. I'll be putting your comments on the screen as the music plays. Ta-da!
Fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that deafening drone. But you realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Feel the dawn of your final day. Feel the fear and go anyway. Get a ride in that big black plane. Kill your conscience and numb your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord.
Hello, Sheila.
Tell yourself it ain't really you. But when the slaughtering has begun, you'll be murdering someone's son. And you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Hey.
Wow. Thank you, Emma Glass. A reminder that you can now watch the Sid Barrett documentary if you've got it yet. Missed you. Glad to have you back. Oh, thank you, Glass. Missed you too. There was a couple of messages in there that I didn't say hello to Steve. I didn't say hello to Nyanthos, so hello to you too. I'm sorry if I missed anyone else. But there was something. Duper Guy, I think you asked me to talk about getting off the roll-ups, but I was starting to get sick. I think in the Duper Guy had left a donation on that QR code, and I said you can ask me to say anything, and I think he said tell me to get off the rollies or something. but I was so sick. I even say in the video, I'm like, I can barely talk, mate, but I promised it. I think that happened anyway, something like that. And then historical doppelganger says it's a weird one. On the one hand, they're criminals who did a bad thing, but on some level, there is some empathy at the concept of having your freedom taken from you for a protracted length of time. Yeah, I do actually believe in rehabilitation, but again, it hasn't worked before in that country. I haven't settled on this. Like I want to make that clear. At the moment, I'm in a, like I said, the sort of honeymoon period of what he's done. He's done something incredible with a country that was just going to get worse and worse and worse. And sometimes, radical problems require radical solutions. But without a doubt, there are issues. And like I say, I don't know, I haven't fully made my mind up on it, but I am impressed by what he's achieved. Packer dropped a lady Godiva. Cheers, Chris. Good to see you after 2 weeks of not being on. It was good to get all that off my chest. I think you said about 20 words. It's amazing. Best co-host on YouTube I've become. Nice one, Packer. It's always a pleasure to see you. Packer, did you email me using your real name? Because I didn't know if it was you or not, and I didn't know whether to reply. I might have just, I don't think I replied. But did you, has your email got that same avatar of that? Is it Tom and Jerry or something? I don't know. Packer, did you email me? Is it even Packer? You're on the screen, mate. Packer, your mic's off. Packer, your mic's off. Right. What the fuck is going on here? Your microphone's off. I don't know why.
Hang on. There we go.
That's all right, it's sorted. Did you email me?
Yes, I did email you. Yeah, I wrote it in the chat. It's probably come up by now. But yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Appreciated that. I just wasn't sure if it was you. I hadn't heard those names before. I won't dox you. But
no, people was asking me though, obviously, wasn't it? Was that, have you seen Chris? Have you heard from Chris? I'm like, no, I don't fucking know. You don't talk to me. What are you talking about?
You don't talk to me, even when you're streaming with me. All right, nice one, mate. Ta-da. Thanks for the email as well. Thanks to everyone. Cheers, Packer. Thanks to everyone who emailed me and asked if I was all right. It meant a lot to me. It really meant a lot. Thank you, Emma, for that one. Thank you for that one, Packer. Mike Edwards drops $9.99. A few steaks and you'll be 100%. I'm still having a bit of trouble eating, Mike, because of the smell of death. And when I eat, it sort of makes it worse. I am eating though. I'm eating a lot of eggs. It says avoid dairy, but I do like a egg because it allows me to eat a bit of toast as well. But I've lost 8 kilos. I said all this at the beginning. Anyway, thank you, Mike. It's very kind of you and Packer and Emma and everyone. Right, I really need to go to bed. I'm not going to get well like this anymore, am I? Look after yourselves, people. Bless you all. Hoi.